On today's episode of WorkHARDAholics, you can learn more of the information you need to prepare for the taxes that are coming for you people. They're coming. Also, if you're considering things to do for your business and you're thinking about how do you handle taxes when you're doing business across state lines, stay tuned. We'll tell you more at the beginning of this Women's History Month. Stay tuned. Welcome to the WorkHARDAholic Show with your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Hello, and welcome to WorkHARDaholics. All right, just for you, that busy entrepreneur who's trying to do it all in balance. All right, so we have some tools, some tips, some techniques, some things we want to share with you. So we start this party off by saying, once again, thank you. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you haven't, thank you for going to go do that right now. We are glad to be here to share with you information, resources, tools, things you can use as an entrepreneur, as a leader in your community, so that you can live better. All right, as we always say, work hard, play harder, and business better. All right, first things first. Happy Women's History Month. Black History Month came and went so very quickly, and March is Women's History Month. Now, for those of you who are sitting back going, what is that and why do we celebrate it? Wanted to share this little video for you that highlights that information so you can know how to celebrate and why.
Now, kicking off Women's History Month on this March 1st, and we want to turn now to Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang, who's going to give us a little history lesson on how it all grew into the celebration we now know today.
It's March 1st, which marks the beginning of Women's History Month, a month-long celebration to honor women's often overlooked contributions to American history, like those of Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to officially become a doctor in the United States in 1849. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all leaders in the women's suffrage movement. And Harriet Tubman, who led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. But what's the history behind Women's History Month? It all began in 1978 with only a week-long celebration. It was organized by the Sonoma County Commission on Women. The week of March 8th was selected to correspond with International Women's Day, which had been celebrated around the world on March 8th since 1911. The movement began to gain momentum, and the following year, other communities and school districts initiated their own celebrations of Women's History Week. Then in 1980, the National Women's History Project lobbied for national recognition, and they were heard, because in February of that year, President Jimmy Carter issued the first proclamation, which declared the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. 6 years later, the same organization petitioned for an expansion on the event, and in March of 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Now, every March and all month long, we celebrate countless extraordinary women who've earned their place at the table. And the rest, as they say, is history.
All right, and as they mentioned, thank you, GMA, for producing that so that we didn't have to. Appreciate it. Okay, but as she mentioned, throughout the month of March, you'll find lots of events locally, federally, all over the place. So I'm sharing some with you all today that are happening from a federal level. And if you're curious to find out more, you can go to womenshistorymonth.gov. So today, there's an event for women from the 117th Congress. There's events tomorrow. There's a roundtable. There's events on the 8th, the 11th, the 16th, the 21st. And so I actually like the event. There's a virtual event, the one on the 11th, the 16th, and the 21st. It's all about how women and girls transformed the world. I love that one. There's an event March 30th. there's some additional events, and next week we'll probably come back and share, or you might check our Facebook page, Instagram. Otherwise, we'll probably share some of the local events. So what normally happens, I'm in Virginia, wherever you may be. You can check your own local listings. The ones that I just shared are federal. They are from the organization that actually spearheads Women's History Month, comes out with a theme in preparation for International Women's Day. And so that's from the federal level. From a state level, here we have all kinds of events and activities. The Library of Virginia normally honors various women leaders throughout the state of Virginia. One of my favorites was when they honored Nikki Giovanni, who I have met in person. Thank you very much. She doesn't know who I am, though, but I have met her. Signature and all, autograph and all. And then the governor's office, I'm not sure if they're going to, but they normally host an event. Various agencies and organizations, including collaboration, normally offer events during the month of March. So take a moment, be aware, celebrate and honor it. It's worth honoring, and you just heard why. All right. So to all you ladies out there, happy Women's History Month. For those who have gone before and those who are here now that are the legends of tomorrow. And so on that note, we talk about our word for the week. Okay, so here's the thing. People always talk about my vocabulary and my love of words. Interestingly enough, I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't actually know. So I didn't know what this word meant. I didn't have it in the right context, at least. And considering that I have marched for it, you would think I should know what it is. Suffrage. I always knew what a suffragist was, a suffragette, but I had never actually seen the definition of suffrage itself. And if it wasn't for you all, that I was going, wait a minute, what exactly is suffrage? Like, what are we suffering for? What are we doing here? I still wouldn't know what it meant. See, it's okay to admit people where we are. It's okay. This is where I am. But now I know. And you can too. Suffrage is the right to vote in political elections. That seems so straightforward. But I tried to find out the history of it to see why it even became that. Like a lot of times words will develop from a Latin or Greek or something else. A lot of words in English will develop from French. We take out the E, we add an S, like école, we make school. But that's all from Latin. And so, but this one around, I actually didn't see how they got suffrage to have to do with voting. I'm not sure. If you find it, please DM us, drop us a message, comment below. Let us know. Together, we can have a complete brain. We can know the information we want. So that's what suffrage is. And so it's often thought of with regards to women's suffrage, right? And so she was just talking about Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cantwell, and some other individuals. And not too long ago right here in Virginia, here it is 2022, and we're still dealing with ratifying the ERA, which is amazing. Yeah. Anyway, but that's what suffrage is. All right. Suffrage is the right to vote. And I hope that for each and every person out there, if you are of legal age in whatever city, county, state, country you're in, if you have a democratic process, I hope. Democratic process does not mean that you are a Democrat. Just FYI. All right. But if you are in a country that has democracy and allows you to vote, I would hope that you do. Apathy is a really strong thing, and I don't want you to wait until you're being denied something or having a hard time, be like, oh, they're not paying attention to my right to vote. Well, exercise it now, and that shouldn't come up. Although there are those who are still manipulating those. But hey, the point is, you do your part, and the rest will be dealt with accordingly. So our word for the week, suffrage. All right. So as we talk about doing business better, there are several events and things that I want to share with you all, because it's our aspiration that you have the resources, the tools, the knowledge, the information, the connections to be able to be more efficient in the work that you do, be it as an entrepreneur, as a leader, and so that you have the tools that you need so that wherever you go, you're ready. So I want to share with you this event. It's coming up March 10th. It's sponsored by the NBL. So it's the Metropolitan Business League, who does amazing work. Shout out to Floyd and his team over there. You do amazing work over there. So they're having an event March 10th. All right. So not too far away, for women in construction. So And I also know that there's some other events that are happening with another agency that we talked about last week where they're really looking into construction. Construction is a big ticket item, period. But a lot of smaller organizations, smaller companies don't know how to get that government contract, to get that highway project, right? And we know with the Build Back Better program, there's lots of things that they're talking about with infrastructure. And if you have a small company, you don't always have all the tools necessary. But when we deal with SWAM certification and other things, it gives you access. So meetings like this can help you figure out how you, in particular as a woman contractor or a woman in construction, might be able to get a piece of that pie. So that's March 10th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can reach out to the NBL for more information. The next event we want to share, yes, do you sense a woman theme? It's Women's History Month. All right, so Brown Edwards is they are presenting the RVA 2022 Power Woman. It's the inaugural year. It's an award ceremony. It's very much to me like our Shiro Awards. Maybe not. Maybe not exactly like ours, except it's nominated by the public. Is probably all that they have in common. And so for this, you can nominate your favorite businesswomen. Feel free to nominate me. I support it wholeheartedly. This nomination has the stamp of approval of WorkHARDAholics. Okay, you have until April 11th. I'm not kidding about the nomination though, but you have until April 11th. There are 10 categories that you can nominate businesswomen in, nonprofit, healthcare, law, all kinds of categories. You can nominate them. And so the event is May 9th, and it's the first year they're doing this. And they have some really interesting sponsors who are supporting it as well. So if you know of a woman business owner, it's a female businesswoman. I can say it. There you go. I can say it correctly. A female businesswoman who you think is doing some amazing things, feel free to nominate her. You have until April 11th. And these things matter, people. They do. So go out there and nominate. Next up, as I said when we first got started, it's tax season, people. Taxes. And the IRS is looking for YOU. Okay? So trying to help you out here. One of these events has already passed. The other one is happening. At the point you're seeing this, it actually happened earlier today. But you can reach out for the replay. So we mentioned it to you before. It's all about business taxes. Are you prepared? There was one on the 16th of February. There was one today this morning. But if you were unable to follow through, feel free to reach out to Letitia Jenkins and tell her I said, hi, Letitia. They're the ones who sponsor it. You can give her a call, 804-748-1065. That's 804-748-1065. Ask for the replay. Ask for the recording. Ask if they're having another session. But right now is not the time to have questions about your taxes. As I have mentioned before, I'll say it again, the IRS is the biggest gangster in all of the world, and they will come for you. So we're here to support you so that you don't have those issues. All right? With that in mind, I said I was going to keep announcing this until tax season is over. If you received funding, if you received PPP money or idle dollars, you will want to check with your CPA. Not me. I'm not your CPA. I am not a CPA. I stay away from that because I don't want to stay on top of the regulations for filing taxes, etc. If you got Uncle Marvin, if you got Katina Downey, whoever you have as your CPA, you need to be asking them or having the conversation to realize, do you have to have an audit performed? So there were questions about it earlier when they first started announcing this. So you're going to want to check with your CPA. It's their job to stay on top of the rules and regulations, especially as it pertains to you, their client. So once again, we're trying to keep the IRS off your back, people. We want you to live a happy life and not have to deal with, them holding your paycheck or having a lien on your home. So unnecessary. We don't want that for you. So we're trying to help you out. Okay? On that note, moving on to a happier side. Onto a happier subject. Like shake off the IRS, people. I don't want you to be traumatized. Just shake that off. Shake that off. Shake that off. A happier subject. The NBL, I've talked about the NBL a few times because they have a few things going on, and I don't feel like enough of you know about them or utilize their services. So if you're in Richmond, if you're in Virginia, this is an amazing organization that I'm a part of. Like, we're a part of it here at the Women's Business Center RVA, and I think it benefits you. It behooves you to be a part of it as well. And if you're not in Virginia, find the equivalent in your area, people. All I can do is share. All right. So the MBL has a junior entrepreneurship club. Love the kids, love the kids. And so they've done some great things with their junior segment before. They have the bridge program. Like, they have all kinds of things they're working on. And so for their youth entrepreneurship program, they have some virtual dates, and the topic is be about your business, which I support. I have been an entrepreneur since I was a child, born in an entrepreneurial family, like the whole nine. So first business, like, really, I mean, literally, like, we didn't do allowance. You had a paycheck, like, you worked, right? And so if you weren't at school, you weren't doing homework, you weren't at church, you might have a few. We had some designated outings and things that we did. We did a lot of socializing and traveling also as well. But outside of that, we were working. So if it's Saturday afternoon and they have a weekend gig, we're right there. And which is why to this day, I don't paint. I don't paint trim. I don't like to paint a portrait. I keep your paintbrush. I want none of it. So there you go. That's my trauma. My trauma is growing up in a family that did small construction projects, painting, twirling ceilings, the whole nine. But because of that, I learned so much about being an entrepreneur. I started giving entrepreneurial consultations, I think, when I was like 11. I don't think I was quite 12. And I distinctly recall talking to people about their businesses and what they were doing and things they were doing wrong. Because, kids are obnoxious. We just tell you the truth. Like, you're not doing that right. Yeah. But now I get paid to tell people that. Looky there. Time tells all things. Okay. And so on that note, just make sure if you have a mini boss and you gave them the shirt, now give them the experience that goes along with it. Connect them with the NBL Junior Entrepreneurship Program. On that note, we're going to prepare to have a word from our sponsors, which next time could be you. Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family. All right. Thanks again to our sponsors here at the Women's Business Center RVA. Also, as we have our Socialita business check-in. This means you. So we want to give a shout out. There are a couple things that are coming up. Rita Ricks is having an event. It's called Little Black Dress. That's happening in April, so you have some time to get ready for that. But go check out her website, ritaricks.com. Gotta love that. You can check that out. Also, we do want to give a shout out. We want to shout out you people who are out there doing amazing things. Because right now we have a lot of like people are going, I need. But there are some people going, how can we help? That are looking beyond what they need and really thinking about the community at large. So one of them is, I want to shout out the Abundant Life Church of Christ. So one of the things that they do, I am a member there, by the way, which is how I get to know these things. One of the things that they do is they do a lot of community support and engagement. And so a part of that engagement is that for Super Bowl, so you're all thinking about Super Bowl Sunday, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to get my chips and my dips and whatever else we're eating and whatever else we're having. And we're going to like, woohoo, in this case, cheer on the Rams. I forget who they were playing. See how I really wasn't intending to watch the game because my team, the Cowboys, were at home. So I really wasn't watching. But the Rams were like amazing. Was it the Bengals? Is it a shame that I don't know? I did watch part of the Super Bowl, but really I was just watching for the halftime show. But then I got into the game. It was like a really good match. Anyway, so one of the things that happens at Abundant Life is everyone wears their jerseys, and we give money towards our teams. And so we say the Washington Commanders. I have such a difficulty remembering that name. Gave the most amount of money. Of course they did. We're right here in Richmond, we're right next to DC, and that money is contributed to local schools, in particular Harvey Elementary and some of the other schools that we support. So it doesn't take a lot for you to do something good for your neighbor, and you should. It'll also help you to get all that crab mentality that makes you so crabby all day long. On that note, we want to give a shout out to the Village. They had an event this past Saturday, and so we talked about it in advance. But basically, they took donations and they had food and socks, which for most of us is like socks. You can buy them anywhere, but everyone can't. And so they gave out all kinds of things in the community. And so that's what they did. So kudos to Lakeisha Broussard and the Village for the work that you do. We greatly appreciate it. Also, on that note, here at the center, here at the Women's Business Center, every month we have set up, with the help of the Imagine Media Lab, we've set up a station for donations. And I'm going to forget once again. Christina's going to tell me the name of the organization we're helping now. Mercy Mall. So even though it's getting warmer, it gets cold, it gets warm, it gets cold, it gets warm. Welcome to Richmond. That's how it goes. We are accepting donations of any warm items: coats, hats, gloves, socks, and the whole nine. So if you have those items, you can bring them to 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. When you enter the building, press 1 in the elevator, and the donation bin is right there in the foyer. Or foyer, depending on who you want to ask. All right. So once again, bring your donations to 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Once you enter the building, it's the Maryland building. Just press 1 on the elevator and leave your donation in the box in the foyer next to the vending machine. All right. So thank you for doing your part to make our community better. On that note, we will go to our bucket moment. I don't know why this excites me so. I really don't know why. Because these days it's hard to find time to read a book. But because of you all, I make sure that I do. This book is heavy. Okay. So I love to share with you all books out of my library that I think are relevant, important, and pertinent. So this book is The Century. It's heavy. This is like, I could have done this for my workout today. Oh, let's stop doing that. Okay, so it's by Peter Jennings, who most of you all know from the news, and Todd Brewster. And it's really like I think Time does a similar book, but the storyline is different. So Time does like the year in review, and you have a bunch of pictures that happen. But with this one, they're really telling you the story of the times. So The Century is actually talking about the 1900s. Does that sound crazy? That sounds crazy. Total sidebar. I'm sorry. Yeah, total sidebar. Who was I talking to yesterday? They're like, their daughter said, "What do you know, Mom? You were born in the 1900s." I thought that was hilarious. That is so disrespectful, but funny. So this is about the 1900s. It literally is about from 1900 to 1999, because we're going to party like it's 1999. Everyone thought the world was going to end with the 2000 Y2K bug and the whole nine. Yeah, if you weren't there, you wouldn't know. I understand. I was there. I was actually working for a company, and we were converting over all of our software because there was a glitch, because apparently no one thought that computers in the world would make it to 2000, so they hadn't prepared for that yet. Okay, talk about business preparation. Anyway, so The Century covers from 1900 to 1999, like all the significant events. And you can imagine, like, and we often talk about that most of technology happened in like the 100-year period, right? And so there are a couple things I wanted to highlight out of here that I thought were fascinating, and I did have them marked. So one, because you think about how women supported, especially for Women's History Month, right? How women supported during the war. And so they went to work. So while men could fight, they actually went to work in the factories. They left the household, left the kids, went to work in the factories, and did an amazing job. Were quite efficient. But another aspect of that that I thought was fascinating is because there were shortages of certain materials that were needed for things they were manufacturing. So women actually donated their clothing or items from their clothing so that they could supply rubber. Doo, doo, doo. Who would have thunk it? I didn't, but I thought that was fascinating. So that's part of like this to me is a one of the things I always have a concern about, and I've always expressed it is that someone said it. Those who fail to learn history are destined to repeat it. And so even as we look at our society today, we're repeating some of the things in our history, and that's because as a people collectively, we've been ignorant about history. We've either been ignorant, want to deny it, want to hide it, want to overlook it. So like even now in Virginia, not a political statement, just a fact. One of the I think I mentioned like one of the first acts of our current governor, who I fully hope to meet. Right, it's a governor that's influenced, and I fully hope to meet. Haven't met yet. Um, but one of his first acts was we talked about the legislation, and what it means is that teachers have to pull out things that educate about like slavery and things that have a negative connotation on okay, I don't know a nice way to put this, on delicate white people's feelings. So I don't know how else to put that. I'm sure there was a politically correct way to put it. But for Women's History Month, we're all rebels. We're just going to let it go. So, but that's part of what happens in the problem. So there's this bridge between guilt and action. And apparently when we're giving education, there's this big sense of guilt, which I mean, no offense to anyone else, your guilt is ineffective for me. What's your action? So the guilt apparently is the impetus, thank you, to actually cause people to take action. But for some people, apparently it's traumatizing. So what imagine how it felt for the people who were enduring it. Traumatizing as well. All right. On that note of trauma, that's probably not the way to go. Another piece in the book that I thought was fascinating, it talks about the story of Rosa Parks, which we all know, but don't know. But I just want to read this quote because I thought it was rather interesting. So this goes through the whole history of what happened on December 1st, 1955, which is the impetus for the bus boycotts. And but I like this quote because here's the thing about knowing your history and being informed, and this applies to business as well. So for those of you going, I thought this was a business broadcast. It is, but we talk to you as the whole person, and you need to know all this. And even in your business, you need to know the history. Like I hate a consultant that comes in and just tells me, "Oh, you need to do this." We tried that 5 years ago. Did you find that out before you came to me and told me that? I'm just saying. So history is always important. There's a quote I wanted to share, and so here it is. If you will protest courageously and yet with dignity and Christian love, when the history books are written, the future generations, the historians will pause and say, there lives a great people, a black people, who injected new meaning and dignity into the veins of civilization. Martin Luther King at the Montgomery bus boycott. So that is why this book that I could use as a weight in the gym is in my library. I'm trying to tell you. So feel free to add this to your collection. If not this one, but one like it. I think it's really important that every generation should make sure they're sharing with the next generation. They shouldn't have to wait until something flares up to be like, oh, I should be concerned. So just sharing. That's our book it moment for today. I'm going to set this weight down over there. Okay. All right. As we've mentioned in the past, if you have a question related to business, or it could be about anything that we talk about here, then you now have the option to ask your question. Preguntas, bienvenido, preguntas. Questions are welcome. Okay. And so this one was something that was asked out, and it basically says a client of mine wants to sell customized children and babies' clothes over the internet, which I've had a couple clients to do exactly that. They took them through Virginia sales and use tax, but they're hitting a brick wall about finding out about state sales taxes and remittances. And I promise you, having had clients, so for those of you who are doing retail online, All right. So I'm here in Virginia. I sell you my book and you are in Utah. Thanks for buying that, Utah. Or I have products that I'm selling from here. We have these lovely shirts from this new line that Christina and I are working on. We'll tell you all about it later. And you're buying it in California. The United States government has determined that you, the seller, have to pay taxes. Did you know that? It is required. You have to always know that the IRS, the federal government, is always looking to get your money. Let's accept it. Let's just move on from it. Right? And so, like, I make jokes about the IRS being the biggest gangster, although they are. They have outwitted every gangster known in history of mankind. They're great at it, right? But when it comes to money, that's what the government wants. They want it so they can run your programs and, pave your streets and do whatever else and not have to keep borrowing money from China. They want your money. Accept it. Move on. All right. And so the person paying has some tax obligation. The person selling has some tax obligation. All they want to know is you're responsible for making sure those taxes are paid. Now, I could take you through the long end version of this question. I'm going to give you the easy answer. If you are a retailer, if you are selling your products online, if you are selling across state lines and you're using the internet to make it get done, then the easiest thing for you to do so that you don't have the headache of taxes is to utilize a third-party vendor. That's the beauty of Etsy. That's the beauty of Shopify. That's the beauty of these platforms. They've already taken care of the tax information for you. They're automatically computing it, calculating it, and including it in your invoice to the buyer. And then at the end, just like right now, PayPal is sending around telling you, hey, time for taxes. I even got a note from Cash App going, we can prepare your taxes for you if you like. So everyone is doing that. So you want to make sure you're using the appropriate vendors who already have it done for you, right? You can leave your CPA alone for now. You can do that very simply. You can know exactly what taxes have to be paid to the federal government by using a third-party vendor who specializes in cart services. Answering to your question, you're welcome. All right, believe it or not, we are winding down. Can you believe it? Has it been that long? I guess it has. All right, so now talking about winding down, we're going to talk about our work hard, play harder moment. For those of you who don't know, I have mentioned in the past that I'm a quinquagenarian. So I am a few years away from official senior citizen mode. That's crazy to me. I need you all to know that for retirement purposes, I am decades away from retirement. But for those other people like AARP, I am only a few years away from receiving their services. Let's be clear. I'm old, but not that old. But the point is, like, I'm aging. We're all aging, but I feel like I'm aging by the second. Of course I am, because so are you. But I just feel it. So I've mentioned before about my quantifiable goals, right? Which I hope, if you've been watching the show this long and you don't have quantifiable goals, I failed you. I must have. Or it could be you. So here's the deal. My quantifiable goals, I've talked about this health thing, right? And I have been very agitated about my health process because for the past 5 months, I think, if you've been watching, you can tell me. I think it's been 5 months. I have been working out. Boo, boo, boo. If you look at me and say you can't tell, shut up. No, I couldn't either. I can't even deny. So I've been working out for I think it's either 3 months or 5 months. I've been working out. I've been faithfully going to the YMCA, taking classes with the other senior citizens, but they're like real senior citizens. Yeah, I've been in there. I've been working it, and I have been working out like 5 days a week. And I mean, giving it some. I've been working, and I will admit I have actually seen some changing. I've seen some change in my clothing. I have. I won't deny it. But the crazy thing is, my scale has gone up. I have gained weight. And it's not like the 2 or 3 pounds from muscle. Like, I've gained 10 pounds at least. I think it's been 12. Yeah, that hurts one's feelings. So last week I changed some dietary things. And 2 weeks ago, I joined the YMCA 10K training team. And I hate myself every day. I mean, I hate myself. I am sore. I was telling Christina earlier, not that she wanted to know, Christina with a C, our producer. I was telling her that my night clothes all smell like Bengay. Yeah, I feel like an official old person. But God bless the makers of Bengay. Appreciate you. So here's the real thing for you all to recognize and know, right? When we talk about work hard, play harder, there are certain things that you have to do in order to have the lifestyle that you want. So I am living for a legacy. I'm not just living for the next car, which I'm looking to buy in a couple weeks. I'm not just living so I can have the next trip, which I am planning on taking very soon. That's not what the life is about. Those are luxuries that I get to enjoy from my labors, the fruit of my labors. And plus, it helps me to be a better person so that I can come in here every day and do the work that I do to support you. But I'm really living for a legacy. I'm living for a legacy of small business owners who I hope one day won't be able to be categorized as small. They're going to be the gigantic corporations making an impact, or the ones who are creating that side hustle so they can have a stream of income so they can go at least a year, if not two, without a corporation, an external paycheck, or the government. Like that's what the legacy I'm leaving is. And I'm working on it and it's happening. What's your legacy? So you can build up all kinds of things, but if you don't have the health and the stamina to survive it all, then what difference does it make? If you are cutting your own life short because you're not doing the work necessary, then that's on you. And so when I say that, I say it to me first, which is why I was out there Saturday. I don't even say I wasn't running, I wasn't walking. I call it trotting. So if you look at a horse canter, that was me because I'm old. And although I shouldn't say that, there are people out there older than me and they are handling their business. Nothing like it. So part for me, for my work hard, play harder, is that this Saturday I think we did 3 miles. We did 2 miles last week, 3 miles this week, and then you have a schedule of what you do in between. What's the work that you're doing in between to get to where you want to go? Right. And so then, and I rewarded myself appropriately when it was over. And I didn't do a reward that counteracted the work that I did. So I didn't run and then go have ice cream. That's not what happened. But I did run. And then when it was over, I did some things to treat myself, like good job, Shirley, pat on back. Not this one, because the shoulder's still sore. The shoulder is still sore. That should tell you what that meant. All right. So I want you all to be thinking about that for yourselves, because we always talk about on the show about you living in balance. All right. I'm getting excited. Festivals are about to start coming to town. I'm about to go buy some festive masks because I will be wearing them for a while. I don't know about the rest of you all. But I'm excited about all the things that are coming. You know, the 2 Street Festival and the fair. The circus comes too, but I actually don't go to that. All these things that are happening, all these seasons that are happening, and that's all great. Is that the thing that'll help you to relax? I feel like that whole episode of oh my God, I want to call Lisa Bonet. I don't know why I can't think of the name of the show. She goes to Hillman College. Who can tell me the name of the show? I don't know, although I have the entire series at home. But there's an episode with Debbie Allen. She's like, relax, relate, relax, relate, release. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Find that for yourself. All right? So, once again, here at WorkHARDaholics, we come to you because we want you to have all that you need so that you can live better, do better, and be better. And live as a happy entrepreneur. Until next time, ta-ta!
Let Socialita help your business stand out from the crowd by building your brand success through social media management. We're located at 1510 Woollalon Drive, Suite 100. Our website is www.socialitarva.com. You can also give us a call at 804-484-2001. Again, Socialita.
Imagine Media Lab, in partnership with the Women's Business Center, offers hourly rental to a multimedia studio. Create or edit digital assets for marketing. Record that podcast you always wanted to start. Voiceovers and live stream. All equipment and software is included in your hourly rental. Located at the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today.
Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Repeat. Repeat.